have not felt this way in a long time. Standing up high, gazing out at the rolling dunes. One cannot know what freedom truly means without first losing it.
The golden slumber truly lives up to its name as a dreamland. Though desert sands exist there too, no mirage, no matter how glorious, can compare to true beauty.
Dendro Archon, what is on your mind?
I was wondering whose counsel I should seek on the questions in my heart.
What kind of questions?
So many. More than can be put into words. As I once said to a friend, we look, we see, and we comprehend. But the question still troubles us. What are the many disasters that this world faces, but the sum of all irresolvable questions?
The biggest question you should be asking is how to seize victory.
Yes. Although, I would express it differently. I must not fail. And so the question I am most curious about now is whether the path to victory will be an arduous one.
What we declare to be a young sapling, we may, in fact, find to be a towering tree, if we would only cast aside our ignorance and look beyond the veil of time to see her true form.
Nahida! We're here! Just in time. My preparations are almost complete.
Ready when you are.
We're here too.
Miss Nicole! Miss Nicole! You run so fast! I thought I'd get a lot of exercise as a forest ranger, but I can barely keep up with you.
Sorry, I got a little carried away.
Lesser Lord Kusanali, the equipment is ready, and the modifications to Aru are all complete.
As discussed during our meeting,
Accessing Irminsul via the Akasha is no longer feasible at this stage. There are other options, it's just... they're a little more extreme, and more technologically demanding to implement. Maybe you should take it from here.
The architecture and functionality of the Akasha terminals overlap considerably with Aru. There is reasonable evidence to suggest that one was developed based on the other, or that they both utilize technology of the same origin. As long as the transplant and merge operation succeeds, Aru should theoretically work on a scale greater than the Akasha and approximately equal to Irminsul. It will become the largest active computing device in all of Teyvat. A system this powerful is capable of a lot of different things. In the past, the Akasha was primarily used for one-way information transmission, but I suspect it could also serve as a central bridging hub. In the pursuit of greater knowledge, some scholars have attempted to connect their consciousness to Irminsul through the use of terminals, incense, and meditation.
Correct. In academic language, scholars who reach that stage are said to have entered Satyavata life. Hypatia has performed this practice many times in the past, and she was once under my care for a period of time.
Right. And this at least proves that there is a zone within Irminsul that can be connected to.
that's right. Providing wisdom to the people is one of the very reasons for Irminsul's existence. I think I understand where you're going. Please, continue.
In that case, I'll skip to the conclusion then. We need to further modify Aru, merge it with the Akasha, manufacture terminals, and distribute them to every single person we can reach.
Every person? Even the desert folk?
Yes, everyone.
I've already calculated the amount of raw materials we need.
So you mean we're going to get new Akasha terminals?
Yes, but this time the people of Sumeru won't be using them to acquire knowledge, just to connect to Irminsul. That's the key.
When we evacuated the city, we brought all the important assets from the House of Dana, in case we ended up needing them. Fortunately, this included the Akasha system's main terminal. We've checked all the relevant records, and one thing is certain. Nothing like this has ever been done on this scale before, so...
Everyone in Sumeru is part of the plan. Whoever controls the people controls the situation.
Since this function of Irminsul was introduced, it has only ever been made available to scholars, who don't constitute a particularly large group of people. But by expanding the scale to include all the people of Sumeru, all the individual connections will stack up to create a significant load on the system. Under normal circumstances, Irminsul would be able to cope with the additional load. But with it already being under strain from other activities, its remaining capacity is limited. Thus, it might be possible to shut it down completely by overloading it. Counting down. 3, 2, 1.
Are you ready?
Ready!
People sought knowledge, they turned to the Tree of Wisdom. Today, we use it to save Sumeru and the whole world. These boughs that nurtured learning must not become tools for destroying the world.
Shut down Irminsul just to stop me? You fools. I have all the time in the world.
Success! The evil Irminsul tree is step growing!
Great!
What a display of true courage! The courage to think and the courage to act! I never thought I would witness the shutdown of Irminsul with my own eyes. Perhaps this is human wisdom in action?
Indeed, only humans could do such a thing. Gods are few and far between.
What was once created for spreading knowledge is now used for another purpose. A rather ingenious plan.
I am grateful to you three for your help. Only thanks to you were we able to extend Aru's interference capabilities to cover all terminals. Now, nobody who wears a terminal will have their activity accurately tracked by Irminsul. No matter how many eyes Dottore possesses, he will not be able to see us clearly. Now for the next step. I'll need the help of your supreme powers once again.
How might we be of service, Lord of Dendro?
I need to reach the Eternal Oasis immediately.
Right now?
In that case, Ibis King, would you agree that this is a fine opportunity to dust off our old tricks?
Never. I assume you have that chess set with you?
You mean the one you gave to me as a gift? Asking for it back, are you?
How could I? You misjudge me. I just wanted to show you another way you can use it. Connect to SATHE Shatranj.
SATHE Shatranj? You mean that place in the desert?
Thoth's chess set gains its power from the chessboard laid out in the desert by King Deshret and ourselves. All ceremonies conducted using the chess set must be activated via SATHE Shatranj. In other words, the chess set is an extension of the chessboard. In the past, moving a chess piece was a sacred and momentous act.
Transfer initiated. Entering live combat mode.
We haven't heard a single word from our spy in the desert. I'm afraid he might have been captured.
Never mind.
But we spent years turning him. And a lot of Mora.
Nothing comes for free in this world, but the loss is not without its purpose. For a small price, we have wasted a precious amount of the limited time they have. Quite a bargain, if you ask me.
Understood.
Weighing profit against loss is a necessary part of life. But to tell the truth, I have been operating at a loss since this all began. Since many centuries ago, in fact. For instance, why would a banker act as the executor of a will? If you hadn't deposited your personal belongings at Northland Bank, I would have no reason to be here right now. Dottore, I've placed your final data backup into the ley lines as per our contract. I trust we are now square for the safe deposit fees you paid.
Is it not a little petty to split hairs like this, given our amicable relationship?
I consider sound bookkeeping a matter of principle.
Do not forget that you only live to see this day thanks to me. In fact, every day of your life since you met me, you've been living on borrowed time.
Why, that's hardly a fair assessment. I will concede that my survival was perhaps at your whim, but I became a harbinger on my own merits. Managing money is not like other professions. Mine is not a role I could have acquired based on your recommendation alone, and certainly not one I could have lasted so long in without genuine ability.
The information stored in the ley lines is quite comprehensive. Rest assured, I have not forgotten how strong your pride is. Well, I presume you have no sense of fragmentation while talking with me.
How could anything possibly go wrong with such strict measures in place? The remainder of your soul was split in two, with one half sent to Nodcry and the other stored in the most secure vault of the Northland Bank. Though I must say, your disdain for the other segments is quite amusing. Zandik is you, and you are Zandik. Zandik created the segments, yet you, a segment yourself, reject him.
That is, Zandik, created segments of various ages in his later years. To achieve this, he had to freeze time and part with a portion of his soul. But as constructive as it sounds, it erases my uniqueness. If each segment is equally me, then by the same token, none of them are truly me. A soul living forever in the past inevitably holds different views than he did in his later years. The same thing that completes me also restricts me. You too might ask yourself which stage of your life you want to be preserved at. The day your business failed? Or the day you were framed by a gang and sold off to a medical lab as a test subject?
We needn't dredge up the past.
This undesirable plan was eventually scrapped. Lesser Lord Kusanali was quite right. I needed an opportunity to eliminate myself. And after that, I concluded that there was no more effective plan than directly splitting the soul. Once the soul is transferred out, you will find that creating a physical body is far simpler than creating a puppet.
The other half of your soul suffered a crushing defeat in Nodcry, you know.
And yet in the process, I obtained the information I always wanted, did I not? Because now we finally know where the best testing ground truly lies.
I once thought your ultimate goal was to ascend to godhood. But as it turns out, that was merely one of your experiments.
Experiments take many forms. Most people are too eager for success, too fixated on the end goal. They forget that the experimental process itself is just as important. A suspiciously vacant seat, a new face. I trust you can put two and two together. The reason it doesn't exist is because someone tampered with the record.
What can I say? After all your efforts, you really did uncover the world's secrets. So, is the new world you promised a lie?
No, it never was. I am glad to be able to control Ermin's soul from within. Now I shall attempt to create a new world inside the existing one. Almost everyone faces the prospect of death, but not a single person has ever been able to experiment unrestrained in the afterlife through sheer force of will. I am the only one to have overcome this enormous challenge. Would I not be letting the world down if I didn't make the most of the opportunity to experiment?
Clearly, the dividing of your soul did not affect the magnitude of your ego. Out of all the versions of you that have ever existed, this you is the most insane and the most radical.
Is that why you chose to work with me? Which was it then? My insanity? Or my radicalism?
Could I call myself a venture capitalist without a suitably ambitious plan to invest in? Yours happened to fit the bill quite perfectly.
Well then, I must say, while I am surprised enough that you showed up at all, what surprises me more is that you chose to present yourself as my former subordinate, and not as the banker Pantalone.
Why make things harder than they need to be? Exposing my true identity in a situation like this would only serve to destroy diplomatic relations between Snezhnaya and Sumeru. I daren't imagine the consequences. Showing up in the name of the original antagonist gives you the recognition you rightly deserve, while also being sensitive to Snezhnaya's predicament. It was an easy win. As for why I'm here, if you're suggesting that your credit is in the negative, I won't argue with that. Many people say that about you.
I'd argue that a significant factor in your willingness to cooperate is the fact that you have but a few years of life left after my death. Living and dying together has a way of binding two parties together rather closely. Is it not true that a relationship should be judged by both the positive and negative returns it yields?
So some of what I said actually made it into your head after all. It's true that I hope you don't die too soon, but don't you find that a strange thing for me to say? After all, you've already had quite a long life, especially for a human being.
Let's not pretend that you're any more innocent than I am. Are we not the same in this regard? We both despise the existing laws of this world, and neither of us enjoy being under anyone else's control.
Is it really so greedy to want the world to operate by a new set of rules?
Of course not, my dear friend. And as I've said before, mutual interest is the foundation for the most reliable of relationships. You can attest to that.
I just hope there never comes a day when I have to work too hard to prove that.
Regreater, sir. People have been spotted approaching Sumeru City.
How strange. Despite your access to Irminsol's data, it appears the soldiers noticed before you did. They must have found a workaround. Well, Dottore, I trust you know what this means. The fact is...
They're coming. They'll breach the city gates any moment now.
But even so, I would say Irminsol is a wonderfully convenient thing on the whole. If you do manage to create a new world, perhaps you could plant one outside my office, too.
I'll consider it.
What do you need me to do? Stall them?
The experiment will take time. Stall them for as long as possible.
Very well. But you're really asking for the moon here. Have you heard this story? There was once a guilty man, kneeling in the center of a church while an angry mob outside waited to bring him to justice. He pleaded with the gods, begging them to grant him one final request: the chance to finish confessing his sins before he was sentenced. Many suns and moons passed, seasons changed, and still his confession continued, as if he intended to speak until the end of time.
Are you suggesting I worship you as a god? Or were you hoping that I might confess my sins to you?
Certainly not the latter. That would make my life miserable indeed. What's on your mind?
The limits of humanity. It's a pity. Despite running countless calculations, I find there is simply no way to reduce any further the amount of one's soul required to sustain.
It's rare to hear you admit to being unable to achieve something.
I beg to differ. For instance, as I've told you before, the original me was prone to motion sickness and couldn't make long train rides.
Ah, yes, of course. One of the reasons you often sent yourself out on errands. What are you thinking about now?
A new experiment. In the event that my soul was depleted, say we extracted my data from someone else's memories, yours for instance, and then combined it with your intact soul as the base material, what would we create?
Such a scenario would be impossible.
Oh?
As long as your current soul survives, there will be no need to create a new individual. Don't forget, you were the one who approved of the present situation wherein only one Dottore remains. And if you ceased to exist, who would be capable of performing this experiment?
Since the day I met you, you've always excelled at talking your way out of a quandary.
Isn't it a little too early to be saying goodbye? Not that I wish to keep you from your business, of course. Very well. Let's leave the conversation there for now.
The power of King Deshret's 7 pillars is truly remarkable. With just a chessboard, you can move an entire unit across the material plane.
Yeah, sets us up for a much easier fight. Really makes my day. The last time we stormed the city, it involved a lot more running around.
I wonder how many people can say they stormed a city twice in their lifetime.
I was just thinking that. I've definitely had more than my fair share of unusual experiences in my life.
This is my first time here, actually. We never usually leave Gandharvaville.
I hope this will be my last time. Does everyone have to chime in? Can't we just fight?
What an amusing comment, my dear lady. Yet humans often alleviate tension via small talk, do they not?
Whoa! Why is Candace's shield talking?
Because the image on her shield is one of me. And I, of course, can appear wherever I wish to.
Huh. Well, la-dee-da. Isn't that fancy? Could I get in on this?
You wish for your gauntlet to speak? Why, certainly.
Ahem. I think you'll find that it is I whose image is carved hereupon.
Thanks. Definitely feel stronger now.
You're welcome, my lady. I am glad to lend you my power.
Sino, what's the situation?
There are troops stationed at every entrance. As we expected. A frontal assault will suffice. Everyone, stick to the plan. We'll take the main entrance. You head for the House of Dana's side door. Move out.